The main character of the story is Ryuu Yamada, a student who is both lazy and delinquent that no one knows about in school, in stark contrast to an all-round excellent student like Urara. Once, Yamada fell down the stairs, and Urara fell along with him. When he woke up in the infirmary, Yamada found himself in Urara's body. In the classroom, everyone is amazed because Yamada is studying very hard. As it turned out, Yamada and Urara had accidentally swapped bodies. And according to Urara, they got like this because they fell down the same stairs together. They agreed that at the end of class they would find a way to swap bodies. Later, Yamada discovered Urara was being bullied by some other female students, and he helped Urara chase the bullies away. That afternoon, the two tried to repeat the fall to switch bodies, but no matter how many times they tried, they still failed. Urara suddenly remembered that they had accidentally kissed when they fell, and it was true that when they kissed, their bodies were switched back to the way they were. The next day, Miyamura, the vice president of the student council, found out about the body swap, so he wanted them to join him in reopening the Supernatural Phenomenon Research Club. At the club, Miyamura tried to kiss Yamada, and they immediately switched. And they conclude that Yamada is interchangeable with anyone he kisses. When everyone decided to keep it a secret, a classmate named Ito appeared, and she wanted to join the club. Unable to refuse, they had to accept Ito into the club, but everyone kept their exchange a secret. Then, realizing that he had an exam coming up, Yamada asked Urara to swap bodies with him to help him with the test. But when they were kissing, Ito saw it all. Ito assumed that they were posing as a club just to get together, so she left angrily. The next morning, Ito spread the rumor that Urara and Yamada had kissed throughout the school. With no other choice, Yamada called Ito into the club and forced her to kiss him. After swapping bodies with Ito, Yamada defeated Ito, and used her body to explain to everyone that the rumors about Yamada and Urara were made up by her. But as it turned out, people didn't believe it at first, because Ito was the one who used to go around fooling people. Seeing that he was doing something unnecessary, Yamada rushed back to the club to find Ito, but she disappeared in his body. Later, by reading the messages on Ito's phone, everyone learned that she was being blackmailed, and that she wanted to use Yamada's body to fight the blackmailers. But the Ito in Yamada's body still couldn't beat them. Fortunately, Yamada was in time to run and defeat the thugs. When he returned to school, Ito apologized to everyone and withdrew from the club. But Yamada asked her to stay with everyone to do research, so she happily agreed. It was later discovered that while Yamada was in Urara's body, he was still able to swap bodies with others. The student council refused to fund their club, so Yamada and Miyamura swapped their bodies with Urara and Ito respectively to use the beauty trick to convince Haruma, the student council president. But he soon found out that they swapped bodies. Haruma agreed to fund them with one condition, that they had to convince Urara to go to university. Because if she doesn't go to university, the school's reputation will be adversely affected. As it turned out, Urara refused to go to university because she thought she could study at home on her own. Miyamura shared that Haruma gave him a mission to convince Urara to go to university, if he wanted to become student council president. The next day, Urara directly asked Yamada to swap bodies with her, because she was ill so she couldn't study, and Yamada suffered the illness on Urara's behalf. Taking that opportunity, they and Yamada went to Urara's house to investigate her. But Urara soon discovered Yamada was in her house, and she switched bodies with him. Yamada stayed behind to take care of Urara, and successfully persuaded her to enter the university. After learning of this news, the student council agreed to fund the Supernatural Research Club. During a school camping trip, Yamada and Urara swapped places, so she could sit still and study in her room. And Yamada had to spend the whole day with Urara's group of friends. Yamada knew that Urara swapped with him because she couldn't get along with her friends, so he gave her some advice, and she agreed to swap bodies. Later, a girl named Nene informed Yamada that she had taken a picture of him rummaging through Urara's underwear. And Yamada was really speechless when he heard that Urara was going to check her luggage in his body again. Nene promises not to share this photo with anyone, on the condition that he prevent Urara from taking part in the upcoming mock exam. According to Miyamura, she was his competitor for the student council president, and she was trying to make things difficult for him. Yamada doesn't want to stop Urara from taking the exam, so he will swap bodies with Nene to delete the pictures. But when he kissed Nene, nothing happened. When they returned to their room, Miyamura and Ito tried to kiss him, only to discover that Yamada had lost the ability to swap bodies. Urara agreed to skip the mock exam at Nene's request. And she also thanked Yamada for helping her open up more to her friends. When he returned to school, Yamada discovered that Ito and Miyamura were both very much in love with him. But when he kissed them again, they were back to normal. Yamada knows that the main reason is because he kissed Nene, so he will go to her to find out the problem. As it turns out, Nene has the ability to seduce others through a kiss, and she uses this ability to manipulate other students. Yamada had told Urara how his powers had changed, but she still wanted to try kissing him. And the two have actually swapped bodies. At that time, Nene and Yushio were hiding outside. And she realized she fell in love with Yamada because of her own power. Later, Urara explained that she was the one with the ability to swap bodies, while Yamada's ability was to copy other people's abilities. Suddenly Yushio comes to fight with Yamada, even though he is no match for Yamada. Because he thinks Yamada did something to make Nene fall in love with Yamada. Later, Urara explained to Yushio about Yamada's ability to copy his powers. Yushio begs Yamada to help Nene return to normal. At first, Yamada refused to help Nene because he hated Yushio. But then, Urara convinced him to help her. Yamada shared the reason he hates Yushio with everyone. Turns out, the two were formerly friends. But after a fight between the two with a bunch of thugs initiated by Yushio, Yushio blames all of the blame on Yamada, causing him to be suspended from school for a week, and given a bad reputation as a thug from at that time. When she got to Nene, she suggested to leave her as she is now, because she finds the feeling of being loved by someone very happy. But Yamada refused and made her return to normal. After that, Yushio gave them a notebook that recorded that there are currently 7 witches with similar superpowers in the environment, and they decided to work together to find the rest. While everyone at the club was having a good time on the beach, Yamada was taking a remedial class nearby. When Yamada was frustrated that he couldn't get out of the supplementary class, Urara suggested that they swap bodies to help him. Urara attended the lesson the next day in Yamada's body. At the end of class, a girl named Meiko offered to be friends with Yamada, since she didn't have many friends. And she gave him a kiss to show her friendship. Upon returning to her room, Urara confirmed that Meiko was definitely a witch, as the two of them hadn't been swapped after kissing. Because witches cannot use their powers on each other. To learn about Meiko's abilities, Yamada asked her out to kiss her once more. And that night, he discovered Meiko's ability as telepathy. The next day, he meets Meiko again and learns that everyone who has kissed her can use telepathy with each other. So they wanted to use this ability for him to help them pass the test, not knowing that Urara actually went to school instead of Yamada in his body. However, on the day of the test, Yamada used his telepathic powers on Miyamura, and sent all the questions back to everyone for them to help him solve. The next day, Yamada and Miyamura went to the house of a school dropout named Tsurushima. Because according to Meiko, she is the 4th witch. When Yamada talked to Tsurushima, she revealed that she had the ability to foresee the future. She had seen a vision of the old school building on fire. And then, everyone in the school would blame her and Yamada, since only the two of them were present at the scene at the time. So she decided to drop out of school to prevent that from happening. To find a solution, Yamada offered to kiss Tsurushima and copy her powers. After returning to the club to research, they discovered that Yamada could see the future through the eyes of the person he kissed. In the scenario where the school was on fire, Yamada was able to clearly see him and Tsurushima standing at the scene. So there's bound to be one more person there as well. Later, he went to Tsurushima to ask about the person she had kissed before, which was another student named Kentaro. Yamada learns that Kentaro is actually secretly in love with Urara. When the day of the fire came, Yamada decided to swap bodies with Urara to meet Kentaro, and asked him to go shopping, with the intention of keeping him away from the school for today. But Tsurushima called Yamada to inform her that the future she saw had been changed. Since Kentaro would also appear in the scene of the fire, they had to change their plans. When Kentaro was about to confess to Urara, Urara in Yamada's body appeared and kissed Yamada to get her body back. Urara tells Kentaro that, in fact, she and Yamada are in love, causing Kentaro to run back to his old school in grief. But Yamada caught up with him and stopped him in time. After learning about the Supernatural Research Club, Kentaro was very interested and wanted to join the club. Their club is tasked with stopping a group of underclassmen who specialize in causing trouble. The gang is led by Noah, and it is confirmed that she is also a witch. Yamada went to find Noah to convince her to stop causing trouble, but she refused his offer. The next day, their club was broken into by Noah's men, and she took their notebook of witches. Yamada went to meet the student council president Haruma and learned that the powers of witches would be transferred to students who often had problems in school. As for Noah, she has the ability to see the past of others, and she will attack other witches to steal that power for her friends. Then a friend of Noah approached Arara and kissed her. As soon as they confirmed that Arara was a witch, they wanted to take her away. But it turned out that Arara had swapped bodies for Yamada before, and they were all immediately captured. When she went to meet Noah, she kissed Yamada, and he saw her past. As it turns out, her friends have been disciplined and frozen by the whole school for a mistake they didn't make, so she wants to take the power of the witches to help them. Knowing that, Yamada promises to help erase their names from the school's discipline book, so that they can become normal students again. The next morning, while preparing for the school festival, Noah appeared and said that she had a crush on Yamada. During the school festival, Tsurushima asked Yamada to help her erase her ability to see the future for some personal reason. In order to help Tsurushima, Yamada went to Tamaki on the instructions of the student council president, as he was a person capable of possessing and undoing the witch's skills. Tamaki currently holds an ability that makes it impossible for anyone who kisses him to see him, but this ability won't work on Yamada. Tamaki agrees to help Yamada remove Tsurushima's powers, but on one condition: that he helps Tamaki find out who the next student council president will be. He later approached Haruma to ask about his next pick, but he refused to answer. Instead, Haruma stated that, if anyone found the seventh witch, that person would become the student council president. Knowing that Yamada was trying to help him, Tsurushima gave him a kiss. And it was at that moment that Yamada saw a vision of the future. He saw that Tsurushima's ability would be successfully erased. Tamaki was made student council president, but Arara became Tamaki's secretary. She looked very sad. Yamada also told Miyamura that he had fallen in love with Arara, and that he didn't want Arara to go back to his sad days. In order to change the unwanted future, everyone would have to help Miyamura become the student council president, so everyone in the club actively helped him find the seventh witch. Realizing Tamaki is using her invisibility to track their search progress, so Yamada and Arara had to swap bodies for a long time to deceive him. Unaware of the whereabouts of the seventh witch, Miyamura brought everyone to see his sister Leona, because she might know something. She knows who the seventh witch is, but that person has the ability to erase other people's memories. And it is certain that Yamada's memories will be erased if the person's identity is known. But Yamada still accepts that, because to change the future of Arara, the girl he loves, Yamada asked everyone to help him regain his memories, if he really lost his memory. After that, Yamada went to see Haruma to reveal the name of the seventh witch, Rika. And it was correct, so Miyamura would be the next student council president. Later that day, after swapping bodies with Arara, he met the seventh witch Rika. And the next day, all his friends in the club had all their memories of him erased. As it turned out, witchcraft had no effect on Yamada, so the student council ordered Rika to erase the memories of Yamada's friends. And Haruma had told him that, other than the student council president, no one was allowed to know the names of all 7 witches at the same time. Tamaki is also unaffected by his memory erasing ability, so he's the only one who remembers who Yamada is. Yamada learns that Arara can't remember who he is right now. And she was in love with someone else, so Tamaki asked Yamada to kiss Nene so he could copy her power, and use it to charm Arara. That night, Yamada looked for Nene to kiss her, but they were caught by Arara. But somehow she cried when she saw that scene, even though she couldn't remember who Yamada was. After that, Yamada told Arara everything so far, but she didn't believe the nonsense, because she didn't even know she was a witch now. The next day, Nene suddenly regained her memories, and explained that it was possible that Yamada's kiss was able to regain the memories of witches. And Rika revealed that she couldn't erase the same person's memories twice, so the student council president met with Nene to find a way to bribe her, but she refused. Meanwhile, Yamada is searching for Arara to try to get her memories back, but he is stopped by Haruma's secretary. Nene now realizes her feelings for Yamada, but she still tries to help Arara regain his memory, even though she knows Yamada likes Arara. Nene suggested that they retrieve the other witches' memories first, so Yamada went to find the others to kiss them. Soon, the witches received an invitation to a student council ceremony, including Tamaki, and they will be expelled from school if they don't show up. When Yamada found Arara to kiss her, it turned out that Haruma's secretary had swapped bodies with Urara's. After that, Rika found them and explained that the student council didn't want all 7 witches to be known because, if anyone can gather all 7 witches in one place, that person will be granted one wish. Yamada then went to Miyamura's house to seek help, but he doesn't remember who Yamada is either, but Leona called Yamada up to talk. According to Leona, Tamaki was also invited to the ceremony, because he took the power of Makoto, Haruma's female secretary. And he would have to go there to restore her powers. Thanks to Leona, they learned about Rika's weakness, and used it to convince her to help them. Leona then also revealed to everyone that, previously, she and a friend of hers had studied witches together, until her friend had lost her memory, and that person was Haruma. As it turned out, Haruma had become the student council president without knowing that her memories were stolen by the previous president. Upon exiting the student council room, Haruma was reunited with Leona, and tears suddenly fell from his eyes. Yamada went to Makoto's house to find Arara. And now Arara believed Yamada's words before. They also succeeded in capturing Makoto in Urara's body. They want to use all the witches to grant wishes, and regain everyone's memories. After that, Haruma also appeared there. But after meeting Leona again, he realizes that he also had his memories erased, so he won't stop them from granting their wish. After that, the witches stood in a circle, and Yamada would be the one to grant the wish. The next day, everyone has regained their memories, and they are having a party at the club. Suddenly Yamada tells everyone that his wish is not to restore their memories, but to remove the power of witches from the school. On the rooftop, Yamada confessed his feelings to Arara, and she accepted his feelings. Thank you for watching the entire video about this anime. I will also put other anime series of the channel here. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell button to get notifications of the latest anime video.